Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Hey, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome.
Okay, ladies, given what we know about past relationships that did not work out, what will we be looking for in a future partner if and when we decide we would like to have a future partner?
So like character traits or just anything
just
that we would be
anything.
looking for?
Yeah, anything that you know
That is
needs
on
to
your
be
list
different.
now.
Yeah. I think Bonnie and I now share a therapist. I think I can say that.
Yes.
And this
We
is
do.
this is a big thing that she does, is have you list the traits that you would look for in a future partner, not spouse necessarily, but a partner.
Well, and I've done this before, but I think my traits have even changed from the last time that I did this. I don't think my list is nearly as specific as it used to be, incredibly. But some of the stuff is still very much at the top. Honesty.
Yeah, that's one of my top ones.
I mean, I think we'd all agree that honesty is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And kindness.
Kindness.
Things that you would
Listen,
think would just be
Kindness,
given.
you know, my stepdad, that's what he tells everybody. Like all the no, that's not true. Everybody's not partnered now. We've unpartnered. But he's like
You found
he's always
couples?
like, the most important thing you can pick in a person that you're gonna be with is, are they kind? Is
Yes.
how kind are they? And
I think
it's
that's
incredibly important, because
very
if you
important.
operate from that space,
Mm-hmm.
then no matter what, you can muscle through, even if
Yeah.
there's conflict, you know?
Well, and that's like so one of my top things is I want someone who's going to be my best friend.
Yeah.
But isn't kindness, I mean, that's a huge part of being a best friend, is accepting them for who they are. And when things go weird or wonky or your feelings get hurt, you approach them still with kindness.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would say that we do that with each other, and I do that with my other best friends. That's the sort of relationship I would want with a partner.
I never had any relationship that wasn't like that, except the one I was
Except the
married
marriage.
to. And that's just true. So, or if you do sort of have a relationship like that, you don't want it, you know what I mean? Like, you put your guard up. But, I don't know, you know, when I was still married and working through things, I remember saying to my therapist, you know, if he would just be nice to me, I just need him to speak nicely to me. Just be nice. And on this other side, she was like, do you remember when you used to say, if he would just be nice? She's like, Lauren, that's a given. That's not a thing on your list. Be nice is not a thing.
But that's the thing
That
on
is
all
a
of our
thing.
lists,
It's
because
a thing
we've
on my
had.
list going forward, because
Well, no, like, it shouldn't be. She was like, this should always be a given. Like, you don't even have to, you know what I mean? What
Yeah,
are you
but
gonna say, Beth?
I think that kindness kind of gets shoved to the side sometimes, especially in our society these days. But I do think it needs to be high on your list, because, well, my mother used to tell me, if you're dating someone, that's the best they're going to be. They're going to be on their best behavior. If they're not kind or respectful when you're dating them, it's all downhill from there. I mean, that's what you see when you're dating, is people putting their best foot forward. So if you don't even have the basic respect, kindness, that kind of thing when you're dating, you can't expect that when you get married.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and in that same vein, I would say I would want someone who is willing to be patient with me and understand everything I've kind of been through, and be willing to wait. Was it the old thing, you need to go through every season with somebody?
Yeah.
You know, so if you've been through a full calendar year with someone, you know a whole lot more than that. Because at about 4 to 6 months, all of that that intensity starts to sort of wane, and you find out what sort of relationship you're actually in.
Right.
You know, whether you really like the person, because the infatuation begins to wear off, and then you're actually in a relationship. So someone I could be with for that long and would understand that I can't just rush into something, you know, with where I've been.
No.
I'm currently in a relationship, but like one of my biggest things is like I just want somebody to play with me. I just want a playmate, like, but like what you're saying, best friends. Like let's go just to explore, just to do things with. Because I'm kind of at this particular moment. Who knows what the future may hold? But like my child is 9. Like I'm settled into this career that I'm gonna have, and I kind of just want to enjoy my free time.
Yeah.
And that's really the most important thing. Like I'm not my because y'all know I love living life. Like I work really hard, but I play pretty hard. And my therapist, when she asked me to make the list, she said, the number one thing on your list, you know what I'm going to say. And I was like, I don't know what you're going to say. And she said, you cannot date any more introverts. And I said, okay. And she said, you are way too much of an extrovert. You like life entirely too much to date an introvert. Yeah. So right now I'm dating an introvert who's sort of situationally extroverted. Like Bonnie and I went to a party on Thursday night, and somebody was asking me about him and why they didn't see him at this other event. And I said, oh, he loves me, but he didn't love social events. But that's okay. And I told him that, and he goes, well, I'll go to some social events. So, anyway, yeah. But that's kind of like, I don't know. You have to kind of negotiate your list too.
Well, and that's like, I think when you fall in love with a person, some of the things on your list can be bumped down.
Yeah.
If that person and you fit really, really well.
Yeah.
So I think another with you and your person, and I think we've all experienced this at some level, is someone that you have that huge connection with. That just intense, wow, they get me, I get them, you can just banter back and forth, you have enough of the same, you're all, like for me, I want someone who's at least well-read enough that they can make references to literature with me, you know what I mean, like silly little things like that.
That's
but it
big
just,
with me too.
But it means a lot when that happens, someone who's kind of artsy, not necessarily sporty. I've had, I've been around sporty a lot. That's me. I know Beth would prefer sporty, but but that just someone who understands how much art means to me in the art world and is creative.
Art's appreciation is like incredibly important to me. I mean, that is such a huge part of my character that I don't know if I could be with somebody again who didn't appreciate like that. And not to say that my last relationship, like that person was an artist in his own right, but not a performance artist, and that's sort of a different
I think
animal.
If someone appreciates you for who you are and knows what's important to you, and needlepoint is huge for me. The arts are huge for me. I don't necessarily have to date someone who does
those things.
Right. Somebody who, I've always said I'm going to have somebody who has hobbies, because I have hobbies. Yeah. I don't necessarily need someone to sit at my elbow while I stitch.
No.
But if you have a hobby, I will respect your time and your love of your hobby, and you respect mine. Yeah, and that is perfect for me.
I want and currently have somebody who will come to my show and clap. Right. Like that's nice. That's,
right. Yeah.
I mean, I think if they get who you are and what you have to make yourself function to the highest capacity, like I have to stitch. Even with a broken arm, I had to stitch left-handed. I had to teach myself how to do that. If you get the essence of the person and what makes them tick, I don't think you have to do that, but you have to appreciate that. And you have to appreciate, this is the person that I fell for, and this is why I fell for them.
Because it's part of who they are.
Their unique makeup. And I think a lot of younger girls, I'll say younger girls because I think there's still some girls my age that are not so young, that think, I will find this guy and he will check off my box and then I will change him to suit me. And that never works. That is a recipe for disaster.
Well, that's don't pick a project. I don't want a project.
I've had a project.
Yeah, I didn't. But did you know you were getting a project?
No.
I didn't know.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying. They're on their best behavior when they're dating you.
Yes, they are.
Sometimes they give you exactly what you want to see / hear during that courtship period.
Right.
But then that's
we
not
do the
really
same, don't you think? I mean, I think that's just a part of
that.
courting.
I think that is a part of it.
I try, just
Okay,
Not
I'm
that
glad
we're
that you
hiding
use that
anything.
word courting, because I don't think anybody actually courts these days.
Wouldn't that
I
be
will
nice?
just say my experience, very limited on dating sites, is that is not what people want to do. They do not want to court you. They do not want to know what makes you tick. They do not want to find out about you. That is not the number one goal on those
Well,
sites.
I think that
And that was very disappointing to me, to know that there are very few, there probably are a few men out there that actually would court and spend the time and the effort. What I have found is completely opposite. They don't want to spend the time or the effort to get to know you and court you. They want to quote unquote date you, which does not mean what you think it is.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think some of that really is some men, and I'm sure women too, have a very difficult time going from that connection that you have in marriage, even if it wasn't a good connection, it was that
Partnership.
intense partnership pull, going from that to all the way back to start.
Oh, yes.
And they just want to jump in and have that connection immediately.
Undoing that is hard, no matter what kind of marriage you had.
Yeah.
Because you've been used to, even if it was a bad partnership, a partnership. It's like being, like if you were in business with somebody and undoing the business contract or whatever, and then it's just
hard.
you. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know my list has gotten longer on what I would like in a partner. You know, I jokingly said when I first got divorced, if he has hair, teeth, and a job, that's about it. But that was a big joke.
This is going to sound so, I don't mean this to sound like superficial or anything, but I have to have somebody who's tall. I just have to have somebody who's tall. That is I don't care about hair. Teeth, maybe.
No, teeth is on my list.
Tall is.
And I used to think tall was really important, but I have since discovered it's not necessarily as important as I thought it was, as all of the rest of the things. I used to also think that I didn't want to date anybody who still had kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've decided that's not really all that important if the person and I are truly matched well. You know what I mean? If I fall in love with someone who has kids at home, that's no longer that big a deal.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just like
that doesn't. I'm still in the midst.
Well, you're
of
in the
that,
middle
so
of it. You're not an empty nester like I am. So
I still have a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
No, I did date somebody who said, "Oh, I broke my rule for you," and I never date anybody with kids in the house. And I thought, whatever. You know, that's such a fleeting small.
Yeah.
Unless your kids are tiny, the time that you have your kids in the house is very, very small compared to the rest of your life.
Yeah. No, it's 18 years.
Okay, so how about having a man who would get along well with your family? That's high on my list. I want someone who can go to my family functions and enjoy spending time with my people. You know,
adaptable.
Is adaptable, right?
Yeah.
Just doesn't try and skip out on all of that. I mean, I'm talking about long term, not short term.
Yeah.
At the point in time that you would want to marry a person, are they willing to integrate into your family? Or they want to keep themselves separate? Because I would want someone who would, because if we're getting married at this age, we're into, we got all sorts of family.
Yeah.
We're older and divorced, etc. But I would want someone who could go with the flow and would want me involved in their side of the family, and I would want them involved in my side.
I think going with the flow. Is really
I just
high
don't
priority
want
on my
someone
list without even
isolated.
But you don't necessarily communicate that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I will say also, just from my past experience, I want somebody who has a generous heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is very important to me because as I moved through my marriage, I realized I had a certain kind of heart and my ex did not. There are people that have generous spirits and there are people that don't have generous spirits. And I can't be with somebody that is not empathetic or have a generous spirit toward people.
Yeah.
In general. All people in general.
I also was in a relationship with somebody who did not have I would say that, generous spirit. So, I think that's, because I am the kind of person who, and I kind of grew up like this with a mom like this, who if somebody needed somewhere to stay, they were at our house. Or if I mean, she was a teacher. If she had students who were having a bad like family situation and needed just to like be somewhere from it, they were at our house.
Right.
And the previous relationship I was in, that I couldn't do that. Like I'm not even necessarily talking about like if a student needed help, but just like friends needing somewhere
Right.
to stay or whatever. That would not have been
Yeah.
invited or approved of. So yeah.
Right.
Okay,
I mean,
here's another thing that I need that most people don't think that I need. I need an alpha male, and maybe even a double alpha male. I need someone that looks at me and says, Beth, this is your limitation. And if you do this, you might want to think about it again. Because I have been a lone wolf for so long and taking care of things for so long that I know that I can do it. Whether I should do it or not, I am now, at a certain age, recognizing that just because I can do it doesn't mean that I should do it.
Did you have to break your wrist to figure that one out?
Well, I've broken lots of things.
Okay.
My heart, my wrist, my pride, my ego, whatever. But I'm one of those people that I can do a lot of things, and if I can't do it, I'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just that kind of person, and I've spent so many years not wanting to ask for help or not being able to ask for help for whatever reason, that now I need somebody that just comes in, can assess the situation and go, I've got this, why don't you consider doing this? That is what I'd really like. Now, I have a friend that says you would never do that, but I would in a heartbeat.
Well, but you would do it. So there's a difference between alpha male, the way some people think about it, and a man who is a good leader.
Yeah.
You want a man who not only is an alpha male, but who can direct you in a way that is not condescending.
No, with
that
kindness.
is kind and that is out of love. And
Yes.
so there's, you know what I mean? There's the kind that you expect to go, no, you will do it this way, but
No,
that is
that
not
would
what
be
you're
toxic.
talking about.
I'm not talking about that. I'm
You're talking about just a
a
man
true,
who is a true, strong,
manly,
good leader.
strong leader.
Yeah.
Good masculine energy. Good
Yes.
masculine energy. That's what I need.
Yep.
But you know what I'm finding? There might not be as many of those out there that I think.
I am not a person who wants a strong leader or at all. Like that's not what I want. Is a strong partnership.
Yes.
So that we can successfully call each other out on the things like what you're saying. Like I'm going to do this, and then the person goes, yes, but have you thought about this? And then you go, wait, no, I haven't actually. That's a good perspective. Like that's what I.
Yeah. So that's more like, I want a strong partnership.
Yeah.
Is that, and that's now alpha male can be also attractive, but I find that I tend to lose myself
But I
in
will
that
say,
sort of relationship. I would rather have someone who wants to be my best friend,
yeah.
but also independent.
I will say, I want somebody who knows what they want, because I know what I like.
But don't you want somebody that knows themselves and knows their
But,
limitations?
Yes, knows themselves, knows their limitations. Yes. Do I want somebody to tell me what to do ever? No.
Oh,
And
no, I didn't. That's
the
not
thing,
at all
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want somebody
Independent. Somebody independent.
who is strong enough in their masculinity to recognize that I have gifts and talents.
Yeah, and that they do
also,
too. Yeah.
and appreciate those.
Yes.
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 I'm not.
That's
I
like
would
the
never
dream.
do
Yeah.
well with somebody telling me what
No.
to do. Y'all know that
Yeah.
much about me. No, what I'm saying is, I need somebody who is confident, who doesn't ask me out by saying no is always an option. Yeah, I know that, buddy. I need somebody
leave with
that's
that, thank you.
that has confidence in themselves, but also knows that they need help also, and recognizes that I am a good
It's-
person.
You know
for
what
them.
it is? It's you do you, I'll do me, and then we'll come together on the things
this
that we
is
need to.
why
that-
we're good
Yeah,
together.
it's why we're good together.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, and someone who is not intimidated
Mhm.
by a woman who is successful and confident in her own right.
Yeah,
That, has all of her. So here's the thing. Not one of us needs a man or a partner. We don't need is not something
No.
that we actually, like, we could live the rest of our lives and not have one. What we want is that we want a partner in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I think to find a man who is comfortable in the fact that we don't need them, and that they are in our lives by choice, and we are in their life by choice, and we just continually choose this person over and that's what I want. I want someone who's comfortable in the fact that I'm okay on my own, but and they're okay on their own, but we make a really good team together.
Well, that you choose. I hate to say it, yes, you want them, but at some point you do choose to need them.
Yes, but you choose it. But I know I could live
but
without.
Self-reliant.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I don't want to rely on anybody, but I don't want them to rely on me that way either. Like it's equals.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I hate that.
Me.
I hate that. Oh, a partnership is 50-50. It's not.
No.
It's both people giving 100%, or it doesn't work.
Or it's okay. So I saw
sometimes
something.
it's 80-20, sometimes it's 70-30, and
everybody
picks it up at different times. I mean, like if I'm going through, like, okay, let's say I'm in show week. If I have a partner at home, they're gonna have to pick up a little bit extra because I'm not home.
They're gonna have to pay a lot extra because you're not home. Yeah.
So like it's those things. But then when that's not happening, I'll grab the other part of it. I mean, that
goes back to effort too.
Yeah.
Well, I think I saw it was Brene Brown. I don't know. Someone posted something recently about that very thing on social media and was like, okay, it's one of those things where she and her partner get together, and if they both had a bad day, they're like, I'm at 20%. I'm at 10%. This is all I can give you based on what we've had, and then they work with that, but they know where each other is.
Yeah,
like it's
that's
a
when
partnership.
you get takeout for dinner.
Yes, exactly. But you know what I mean. But that's what a partner is, to be able to walk in and say, I've had the worst day. I have got 10% to give.
Yeah,
I can't do all of the things I normally do when we're all great and happy. And to be able to have the other person say, okay, well, together, let's take our measly little 30% and figure out how to get through this night and be kind to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think communication is important
but that's,
too.
Yes, communication and trust. To be able to trust each other enough to have that communication when you know you are not your best self.
So when you're not your best self, is your first instinct to be angry with anybody else? Like,
no, it's to retreat.
Yeah, mine is too.
Like, I think that it's important to recognize, like, it's not that anger is not necessarily a good response to when you're not at your 100, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not taking it out on the people around you.
But if you know that's your first response, to be able to love and care for the other person enough to be able to move through that kindness.
Like, I feel so self-aware at this point in my life. And I would give anything if I was this self-aware at
how
24.
different would things have been if we had been this self-aware in our 20s.
Yeah.
But we were this self-aware thanks to trauma. Yay, trauma.
Yeah.
Yay. Thanks.
That's
It's
our
one of
next
those little
sweatshirt.
gifts.
Yay, trauma.
Yay, trauma. It gave us so many gifts.
Yeah.
Like self-awareness.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Self-awareness and independence. But I mean, okay,
thanks to trauma and therapy, I'm living my best life.
That is true. I would say I am living my best life. Thanks to
That's
that.
so true. Just have a trauma and go to therapy for it.
And you can also live your very best
You
life.
can also live your...
This side of trauma.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
That'll be our next podcast.
I think there are some people who their immediate reaction is anger. And that is so not my first response to almost anything anymore. Yesterday, I was annoyed when I was out with, I was at Walmart, and the man at the count, he was taking a very long time, and he kept talking about things. I was like, okay, can we, like, I'm in a hurry. I'm not going to be rude to you, but, like, can we do this? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be rude, like, but can we do this? Mm-hmm. And so we got out, and I immediately started pushing the cart and, like, put my sunglasses down and started walking fast. And my boyfriend's with me, and he goes, you can always tell Lauren's irritated when she starts walking fast, put your sunglasses down. And I was like, what's funny is I'm irritated, but I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I just want to go, you know, like that. And I don't know. I think that there are some people, and I think that there are people that we've been with that like anger is their quickest response to anything that doesn't.
Well,
go their way.
well, okay, yes, and
Yeah.
I was married to someone, and he was that way. My ex-husband was that way, and it was his first response to a lot of things was anger. But it's not like he could control that. Like he couldn't control that anger. It's like it just automatically happened, and at some point he became self-aware of that, and he really started trying to work with that. But that's just who he was.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to be, if that's who they are, they have to be able to control it.
Yeah.
Or to be able to find ways to negotiate that inside
Right.
themselves and not take it out on the other
people around
person,
them.
on the people
And
around
unfortunately, it usually ends up getting taken out on the person that you're supposed to be the most
That
connected.
you're
Yes, the
closest to.
person that you feel closest to and most
Because your
vulnerable
fear,
with.
because maybe your fear of losing them is the least. Like
Yeah,
you don't,
because you don't feel like
that
they'll
must
run
be
away
it.
from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, okay, our children, when they were 2, they could try and beat us up. Like, just really come at us with, like, arms going. Because what's your mama
Yeah,
going to do?
sure.
She's going to say, stop that. But you know what? They're testing the boundaries,
Yeah.
and they felt free enough to throw those temper tantrums. I used to be so irritated that my kids could throw temper tantrums with me, and there are people, they spent all of this time at school with me. Oh, they're such little darling angels. They're so sweet. And I'm like, oh,
who
well.
are you talking about?
They saved it all up for him. Not, I mean, my children were
Yeah.
great, but you know, everybody
Yeah.
does.
Oh, yeah.
All children have that. They feel safest with their parents,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have those. When they need to feel an emotion, they feel safe to feel it with
and not
us.
to
And I
say
think
that
some
it's
of our
not okay
partners
to be
have been that
angry.
way.
It's okay to be angry.
Yeah, just not,
But you know.
but not mean.
No, meanness.
You can be
is-
angry
you
and
can
not
be angry and
mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's important.
Right. So, is there anything else? Like, I feel like
Okay,
our
mine-
lists are sort
okay.
of big and ambiguous
No,
because of
mine
where
have-
we've been.
I've whittled mine down a little too. If the guy does not have a good relationship with his mother, you're
Or
off.
his children.
The children thing is the most concerning to me. If he's not speaking to his children, or there's something there's something wrong. Like there's something you need to investigate. There's something going on. And my thing is, at this point, I don't have time to investigate you, buddy. I'm too old. I'm not gonna do it. If there's something going on in your family, you need to have taken care. If you're not addressing the fallout from your divorce or widowhood or whatever, if you have not addressed that with your children, you're not ready for a relationship with anybody else. You need to take care of that stuff first before you move on to me and infest me.
Okay, along the same lines, and Lauren, I don't think this necessarily applies to you because you have a little kid already still at home and all of that, and you're a good bit younger than me. But I have wondered if I should invest any time in dating a man who doesn't have children at my age. Like, could someone who's not had children understand the love and care that I give to my children if they've never experienced that and they're in their 50s or 60s?
I think that
You know what I
depends on their
mean?
family of origin. I think
Maybe
that
so.
depends on how they look at children in a family from the family that they came from, how
Maybe
they were
so.
treated as a child.
I think that also may do like with anybody at any age who doesn't have kids, you know, because if you haven't had a kid in your home and raised a kid, there is a little bit of like, what is this alien? What is this
Well,
alien
and there's this
doing, you know?
emotional connection
Yeah.
that we have to our kids
Yeah.
that I don't know that you understand if you've not had a child of your own, and I'm sure it's different for me, but had a child of your own that you've lived and helped raise. You know what I mean? To me, it's just I don't know. I've just wondered, and I don't have any experience with that. I've not dated anyone. I've dated one person without children, but for the most part,
I mean, my partner doesn't have kids, and he's
yeah.
a lot younger than me, and we just sort of still keep things. Not, I mean, he knows my child at this point. My child knows him, but it's very foreign to him because he's never been in that position. So
Well, and it's a different situation because you still have a little at home.
Right.
Mine are grown and
Right.
basically gone.
Yeah.
So it's like to bring someone else to have them understand my fear and motherness and all of these things that I
Yeah.
have for my kids who don't live with me. I mean, that's that's a really big part of my life.
Yeah.
It is.
Is to be the mother to my 3 kids, to have someone who might not necessarily understand
But also,
that.
somebody, if they are, in their
50s
50s and
60s, yeah.
60s and they didn't have kids, sometimes having stepchildren is a huge gift.
It is. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just, I think that it depends on how you decide to develop that relationship. I mean,
Mhm.
I have step-parents, you have
Mhm.
step-parents,
Mhm.
and I think we could both speak to the fact that, like, as a step-parent, not that I am one, but, like, how...
It can either be good or bad.
Yeah, and you can choose,
Yeah.
how you want
Which way
to
you want to
go forward, as long as both parties are, willing participants in the relationship. So, especially as an adult. I mean, my stepmother, she came into my life when I was like 12. My stepfather came into my life when I was like 30, 32,
Well, I guess
So-
something else is I would need to be with someone who did not want a baby.
Yeah.
I'm done physically finished having babies. I'm not at that point in my life, So that would be, I guess, something else I'd have to put on my list, is that it's not in the cards for me.
Yeah.
So.
I'm on the cusp.
You just keep saying
All right, do y'all have anything else you want to add to your lists? I feel like we've got a pretty good. It's a big, broad. To me, it's a very broad but specific list that we each kind of
I think
have.
education
but
for me, well, y'all know,
Yeah.
I've been down that road. I think education is a big thing for me. And I think
agree.
you spoke to that as being able to get references. If they're well read or if they had life experience, I think you can have a witty banter with them, which is important to me, to be able to have a connection with somebody. If they're not intelligent,
Well, and it's been such a big thing in my life. I have one master's degree, almost a second master's degree, and looking at going to get yet another one. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Education is my job, and it's been a big part of my life. So to have someone who, and not that it, I don't think it necessarily matters, because someone can be well read and not have been all the way
Yeah.
through a 4-year
I
college.
I
know
think
it's just
an
whether they're
intelligence quote.
Yes. So
And-
whether they're self-educated, they're like
Yeah.
just this love of learning, whether they exercised that through the school system or did it all as a research thing on their own, I think that is definitely
But
important.
if you have somebody that refuses, I had that experience. And it was like, well, okay, that's where we parted ways.
Yeah. Well, yours
So-
didn't speak academic English.
That's true.
Sorry.
No, I think for me, I don't really care about because I everything looked right on paper the first time I had a person,
Yeah.
and that did not work out
Yeah.
education wise. That was
Right.
and we were right on the same
Yeah.
level. So I think it's much more for me about what subjects you connect on,
Right.
and I mean that just
Yeah.
uh
Someone can be well read and not have gone to college. And
Exactly.
someone can
Or-
get the references that I
Yeah.
have and like the same
just
thing.
I mean my boyfriend is an HVAC technician and I'm a professor. Those are very different careers. He tells me stuff I don't know all the time.
Right.
Well, and I don't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that, but also, I have discovered about myself that I am a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I enjoy picking something weird and learning about it, and if I don't have a person that has that kind of dynamic, I don't know that I would do well with somebody that just wanted to do one thing for the rest of their life and they weren't interested
Oh,
in
and
other things.
Oh, you
In
mean
exploring
I gotcha.
kind of things.
In
If
finding
you have a closed off mind,
Yeah.
I've always done it this way, and this is the limit of and I don't want to go see
so
this.
to
and I don't
some
wanna
degree
read
it's
this.
about ambition and exploration. Is that
Yeah.
I think it's more of a spirit of adventure.
a spirit of
thing.
adventure? That's good.
Yeah,
That's a
spirit
good way
of
to put it.
adventure.
I think
Yeah.
it's more like if you want to keep learning about things, like, okay, on my list to learn is how to stack a stone wall.
Okay.
Like that, the stone fences.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know.
You can start on the one between mine and Lauren's house.
Okay, that's it.
Want to do a stone fence?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
All right,
it.
I'll file my
like,
insurance.
I'm
See if it meets
interested
my
in
deductible.
weird things. Like,
That's
I
going
like
to do our
to,
stone
I
fence.
know. I like to figure out things, and I like hands-on things.
Me too.
And
I'm like
so,
crafty.
I would like to
that.
have a person that would like. Well, it's not even. I mean, I'm crazy
Yeah.
about crafts, but it's just other things like, like I bought the how do they build cathedrals, like stonemason stuff and architectural stuff, and even like how to grow the best tomatoes or how to. I just want to have something new to learn all the time, and if I'm with somebody who does not share that kind of adventurous, like, let's push the boundaries to, not be
in a rut, just not the
don't
same.
get in a
same.
rut.
I
Yeah.
see a good exploration. Just so my ex-husband and I, we went to New Orleans as an example of this, and of course he was great. We had a great time, but I was like, I really want to go and look at the is it Sargent who painted the lady with the strap off her shoulder there. There was a artist. Anyway, his studio is still. I was like, I want to go look at this, and I want to go see this cathedral. And he was like, you're such a teacher, because I was wanting to explore the history of the place and go visit these things, and he just wanted to be out to have a good time. No, he humored me, but he was like, I want someone who doesn't look at me and roll their eyes and say, oh, you're such a teacher. I want them to say, oh, that's great, let's go do that.
Yeah,
like let's go look. If you're interested, let's go figure that out. Just because I know New Orleans is generally a party place, but I was like, I want to see the history of this place.
That history museum that's right down there that you can walk through, and it shows how they started building the city, is outstanding.
Right, so that kind of thing. So
I have done that, but I had to do that on my own.
Well, that's when I've been with teacher friends since and seen a lot of things. But what I mean. It just. But I want someone who's going to be open to even those weird little bitty explorations, no matter where we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. That would think it was fun and not just you go off on your own.
Well, and see, I want somebody that embraces that part of me that goes, oh, we can, since we're here, we can do one more thing. We can put that on our list, because that's a huge thing for me. Like, people say, why do you like your job? You drive all over the place. And I'm like, yes, but I read up about things, and so
you get to go to new places.
Well, like Tupelo, I had, I go there all the time. Well, I had never actually been to Elvis's birthplace, so one time I went a little early, and I took a picture of myself sitting on the porch swing at Elvis's birthday. Like, I just like to do, and then, like, I love gardening guns, so I'll look up and see what's the restaurant that they say wherever I'm going, and I like to do those kind of things. I mean, my thing is, if I'm there, I might as well pack as much stuff in as I can and learn all about it, and then.
So I love that.
So I need somebody that likes that, the spirit of adventure. I want somebody that does that.
Which goes back to being go with the flow.
Exactly. So I don't know what to put that. Yeah. Well, going with the flow is also like.
Okay, how about someone? So I dated one person at one time who never wanted to fly overseas.
Oh no, that would be
I was
off
like,
my list.
no, I would
Sorry.
like very much to travel. Yeah, no, someone who wants to who would like to travel and explore the world.
Next, fish in the ocean.
Exactly. Done with you. So.
Yeah, and going on trips. I would like to travel a little more and do weird trips, like the teepees.
Yes. So what was that you saw? It's where it's in one of those.
Montana or Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone. It was Yellowstone.
It's Yellowstone.
Where you can
glamp in a teepee.
Nice.
I would love that.
All right. So do y'all have anything else you want to add to this? Yes. No.
I don't think so.
So, anybody interested, you have our address. No, just kidding.
You can text either of us, all of us, at 505-555-555.
Oh, very funny. All right. So, what are you guys doing this week to live the life that you love?
My son and I are going to the beach this weekend, so
Ooh, that's so great.
we didn't really get to do like any kind of true vacation this summer, so it'll be the first like, I don't know, little getaway that we've had, and he's so excited, so I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to my parents' this little club that they're in. They're having a big party, Labor Day party this weekend, so I'm going to go to that. And then my oldest will be home with his fiance. They're going to stay in my house for a couple of days. I'm very excited to get to see them and have them around. I miss them a lot. So
Well, it's SEC football time. I will be getting out my black tree and putting all my Alabama ornaments on it and fixing a charcuterie board and watching the game. And everybody remember the rules.
don't bother Beth.
Only text and call me during TV timeouts.
So, in other words, just let me go ahead and forewarn you to ignore me
Yeah.
until TV timeouts because I'm not going to know when those are.
There you go.
Just saying.
Halftime.
Oh, I know, but I'd still have to be paying attention to when the game
Yeah,
is on
that's
to be able
true.
to do that. I just
That's
won't. I promise you I won't.
Well, you can say, how's it going? And I'll say,
Okay, there we go. I can
roll
do that.
tides. There you go.
Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week,
See
See you
girls.
next week. Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.